Happy Saturday morning to you. Welcome in for some Saturday morning crafting. I'm glad you're here. Let me know that you're here. Leave a little note below. Come on in and let's see who's here this morning. It's early. 8 o'clock here. Let me know what time it is where you are whenever you're watching this. I'm always curious because you never know. Whenever people see it, sometimes it's a couple of days later. There's Miss Terry. She's our first one on. Good morning. I'm a couple minutes late. Shut the window. Y'all hear Tom crowing out the window there. Good morning. There we go. We had a little slow rolling start. There we go. Now we're rolling. There we go. Good morning, Miss Cindy. Good morning, Karen and Natalie. How are you? Who was with me yesterday? It's 8 a.m. because you are watching live, Miss Cheryl. You got it. We did our farmhouse primitive. That was my spin on this little jar technique. Farmhouse primitive buttermilk jar. Let's flip the camera around and that will help. This button right there, that does it. There we go. Good morning, Miss Phyllis from North Texas. How are you all? I hope you're still comfy and cozy, maybe sipping your coffee. So I did the front with this technique, and then the back I have left blank, and we're going to do Christmas because we're going to be starting Christmas projects next week. Y'all have been saying you want Christmas, so we're going to start Christmas projects next week. Expecting rain. Oh goodness, Denise, we need some rain as well. We have not had any rain since, I guess, 2 weeks ago when the Helene hurricane kind of wrapped around and gave us a bunch of rain, but we have not had any since, and we didn't have any before for like a couple of months, I feel like. We're pretty dry here too. Good morning, Miss Sandy. You're on the East Coast. Yes, you're at 9 a.m. this morning. Good morning, Miss Michelle. How are you, friend? There's Miss Joy. Y'all are waking up. We've almost got 100 in the house this morning. Good morning, Crystal. How are you? Okay. If you caught me on Wednesday, when I was showing you some of the items that I found at some various places throughout the week, you saw the big wooden dough bowl that I grabbed. It came with a few, let me show you. I wasn't going to get the pieces that they had displayed in it, but it actually came with it. So I thought, well, why not? I'll just get them and use them for something. Even though they're not my style. It just came with a few leaves and a couple of these like faux, I think these are like foamy stuff, like I think they're foam, little pumpkins and a squash. And I thought, I'm sure I can find something to do with those. Good morning, Miss Shayna. You need rain too? Oh, I bet. Your garden's pretty much done, isn't it? I know we've pulled everything out of ours. You can supplement water for a little while, but when you don't get rain for months, you just can't do it anymore. It just doesn't do much. Good morning, Judy. Dublin, Ohio. I've been near Dublin, Ohio, I believe. Good morning, Miss Irma. So I'm taking these foam pumpkins. Now, you could take the same idea that I'm doing today very easily and make it work with lots of different options, because pretty soon all the fall stuff is probably going to be on clearance because they're going to want to be moving it out, right? So, or you might have something like this already that you're kind of wanting to redo, or maybe you didn't know you want to redo it. You might want to redo it after you see today's project. So, I am taking one of these little mini pie pans. All right, I have a couple of these. And I used one of them a couple of weeks ago when we did the Mold-A-Wood projects. And I used the Mold-A-Wood in my pie pan. And I just molded it onto the edge and let it dry. And that's the actual color that Mold-A-Wood is when it dries as well. So it already looks like a pie crust. It kind of reminds me of a graham cracker crust, really, because it has the little tiny particles like you would see for a graham cracker crust. Good morning, Miss Sharon. Hey, Michelle. So if you don't have the Mold-A-Wood, You can use something like an air dry clay or like Model Magic. I have even made a little pie crust out of the mold, or this is Model Magic, I believe. Model Magic. I just gave it a little bit of color, and then you would probably color it with some coffee grunge or paint it if you want. But these pop out, but this stays stuck pretty well. And I'm going to use this one today with combination of this pumpkin. So I have a group on Facebook. If you all are interested in primitive style crafts, you might want to check it out. It's called All Things Primitive, which means just what it sounds like, right? You can share photos of things that you create or things that you decorate that are primitive in style. And I am kind of picky about what goes in there. If I don't feel like it's primitive, I won't approve it. So, but I have a feeling most of you can kind of get my style and the primitive look that I think you'll be fine. But there was a lady in there, Miss Jeanette Spicer. She posted a fun pumpkin pie. It was a spin on a pumpkin pie, okay? It was sort of like a whimsical spin on a faux pumpkin pie. And I believe she sewed hers. It was all made by sewing it all together. And I wasn't quite ready for that step yet. So I thought, I'm going to take that idea, which was absolutely adorable, and put a little different spin on it for me. Good morning, Miss Irma. First time, Miss Susie. Oh, now Miss Susie was my inspiration for my 5 little pumpkins, and she's over there in that All Things Primitive group. So nice to see you, Miss Susie. Okay, so let me show you what we're going to do. I'm going to take this foam pumpkin. Now I'm going to prim this up because it's gold and blingy, and you all know I'm not real gold and blingy. So we're going to prim this up. It's foam. I should be able to cut through this, and we're about to see. Let me get my X-Acto knife. Now we are not on a time crunch today, so this is going to just be some laid back craft as we go. You all chime in. I'll be able to see and watch the chat a little more than usual today. I'm trying to find my X-Acto knife, and it's disappeared. That's not good. Oh, right there, under my nose. Okay. I'm going to, you want a pumpkin that will sort of fit down in your pie, per se. Now, mine is a little tall and just a tiny bit wide, but I think I can squeeze it down and make it work. Good morning, Miss Becky. Good morning, Shirley from Georgia. So, it's still a little tall, though. I want it to sit down in there with the pumpkin up a little bit higher than the actual top of the pie crust. So I'm just going to go around and I'm going to cut some of the bottom off of this pumpkin so that I can nestle it down in there a little better. Okay, if you saw her pumpkin over there in that group, you all let me know. Because I think a lot of you did, and I just loved it. It was so cute. So cute. Okay. I'm going to do a rough cut, and then hopefully get it off there. That might be easier said than done. I may should have brought a bread knife in here. Yeah, that one's a tough one. Let's try some scissors. Some of these foam pumpkins are a lot easier to cut through. This one's a pretty sturdy one. So we might just start. I don't think that'll be tough enough to do it. Yeah, let me try that one. Okay. Bread knife to the rescue. Here we go. This is some tough foam, I'm telling you. There we go. We're getting somewhere now. It actually has a coating on the outside, like a, I don't know if that's paint or like a little wrap, like a shrink wrap almost, on it. Oh, that works. That works. Okay, yeah, it's foam all the way through, but it's really dense. So it's pretty sturdy. Okay, now let's fit this for size and see what we got here. Where did I get the size pie pan? Denise, I'm thinking I probably ordered them on Amazon. I have trouble finding pie pans around me. Like, not even my Dollar Tree or Dollar General has pie pans. They have cake pans all day long, but the pie pans are different because, let me show you, and a lot of you probably know that, the pie pans they go out at, you know, they go out at an angle towards the top. You see what I'm saying? Cake pans are straight down. They have a straight edge. And these are kind of, I don't know what the right word is for that, but you get my gist, right? Can y'all read my mind this morning? Sprinkling us down in Australia. Thank you, Miss Kathy. Welcome in. Okay. I did shave off the bottom there, and it's still just a little bit big. So around the areas that I know that it's gonna be a tight squeeze, I'm just gonna kind of smush it. Since it is foam, I think we can make it work. Okay, so now that I've got that cut down to size, and I've got these two others, I don't know what I'm gonna do with these yet, but we'll see. Of paint, because I want this to look, you know, primitive, my style, right? This is not fitting for anything I have in my house right now. Gold wise, I don't think I have an ounce of anything gold around here except for a few remaining light fixtures that I haven't replaced yet. Hobby Lobby has the pie pans. Okay, good. I could, Jeanette, I could use my heat tool. You are right. I could do that. Now, I have, sorry to say, where did that paintbrush go? It's in my coffee grunge. Okay, so let me get a cup and pour some of this paint into, because my brush is not a clean brush. It has coffee grunge on it. So I don't want to dip it straight into my paint. I'm going to have to clean that off. Let me clean that off right now while I'm thinking about it. Otherwise, I'll forget. Got a little bit of coffee grunge on that. That's a brand new bottle of chalk paint, and I don't want to waste it. I'll go ahead and peel this off too, since we have some time this morning. Good morning from Rhode Island. How's the weather in your neck of the woods? That's one place I've not been to. All right, now we're going to add a little bit of coffee grunge to this to thin it up a little bit, just a tiny speck. Because that chalk paint can be really thick sometimes. And I want this to be a little thinner. There we go. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of instant coffee crystals. And let me grab that because I did put it up yesterday. Oof. Thought I had everything ready today. I was trying to be good and clean up a little extra yesterday. And didn't have a project in mind just yet yesterday when I was cleaning up. So I'm sprinkling a little bit of crumbled instant coffee crystals into that paint. And that's going to get me that, I don't know which one I call it, primitive orange color, rusty orange color. Good morning from Wisconsin, Miss Linda. 50 degrees in Alabama this morning, and that's about where we are in Kentucky too. Now I'm going to give that instant coffee a minute just to kind of start dissolving a little bit, and it will deepen the color of that orange. So if you have a really bright orange color and you're thinking, oh gosh, you know, that's not going to work, you can mix a little bit of that in there with it. Use a smaller pumpkin. Let me see. Oh, I know, Denise. Miss Pat at Unique, she has created the most cutest pumpkin I've ever seen. And she had inspiration from a piece of, is it decoupage paper maybe? It was so cute. It's an actual whole pumpkin, but she split it into segments and almost made it look like a pumpkin cake. It's so cool. I need to find a picture of that and share it with you all. Miss Pat, you know what you need to do? You can share it over there in my All Things Primitive group. Share that pumpkin picture over there for my friends over there. My baby chicks, Terry. The little black chick passed away last weekend. I had been watching it, and it was just really frail, really small. And I don't know what was wrong. You know, sometimes they just don't thrive. And the other one was growing along just fine, and it already almost doubled in size, bigger than the little black one. But the yellow one is doing so good. I mean, it is perky and peppy and doing all the chick things that it needs to do. And so we just have one, which is okay. You know, for the first time, I kind of needed to know how to do it anyway, and how to do things. And but it's been out roaming and just a little bit. I have to go out and watch them when they're out, because Mama is still really defensive, so she's not. And the others are all curious, and you know it makes for a little weird of a dynamic with them when they're separated for a little while. And so anyway, I let them out a little bit yesterday and watched them, and I've got a few little videos I'm going to share with you all today. I'll post them, but it's the cutest little thing. Now the one that we have left, it is yellow, and it has just a couple little black spots on it. One's on its head, and I think maybe a couple on its back or something. So it'll be fun and interesting to see what it turns out to look like. But I'm telling you, if that thing turns out to be a rooster, I'm not going to be happy. You loved her pumpkin too, Christina. It was so pretty. So pretty. And I think it took her a series of 2 or 3 episodes, shows to finish it. But once you see it, you'll know why. She put a lot of detail into it. And I've not ever seen anything like it. It's so cute. I'm going to have to try it. I don't think I have a pumpkin that I can try it with this year, but it's definitely on my project list for next year. I'm trying to wrap up some fall stuff and be done so we can move on to Christmas, because many of you are ready to start creating some Christmas things, and I don't blame you. I want to craft some things to have them ready. I've got a few ideas of things that I'm wanting to do for Christmas. So, and if you all, I had someone, I can't remember who, someone messaged me about a Dollar Tree, I think it was a Dollar Tree, a cutting board, a kind of a specific shaped Dollar Tree cutting board that she wanted to know if I could come up with an idea for. So I'm thinking about that. But if you have some ideas on things that you want to see, or can't make any promises, but I can try. I have a post at the top of my page. You can go in and make a comment, or leave a note, ask a question, and I'm going to start doing that every week. Have a post up there where you all can come in and leave a question or comment, and that way I can see your questions a lot easier by just going and checking that one post. Because a lot of times, if you have a specific question while I'm live, I can answer it really easy most of the time. But afterwards, there's like 50 million places where questions may be, and so it's hard for me to track them down. So I've started a pinned post at the top of my Facebook page where you can go in and leave comments, and I go in and check them, you know, once or twice a day, and respond back to you. Okay, we're gonna let this dry a bit without getting it too hot. But I think that's a fun orange, and of course, you know, I'll grunge it up a little bit too, but I think that's a good base color. And it went on really easy because we thinned it down just a little bit. She is Miss Courtney. So We got foam, little foam pieces. This might take a little bit to dry because I did put it on pretty thick. That gold underneath was kind of hard to cover up. I don't know. I don't think we'll have to put 2 coats on it, but we'll see. What's interesting is as this dries, I don't know. I don't think the lighting's going to let you all see that. There's a little bit of different undertones that are kind of showing through, which is kind of an unexpected surprise. I don't know. Once we get this dry, we'll decide what we need to do to it next. You've started saving things on your marketplace, like you said. Oh yeah, good, Regina. Good. I'm telling you, that marketplace, you can, if you're patient, you'll find some good things. Gotta be patient. I mean, usually, used to, like 10, 15 years ago, we used to use something called Craigslist. How many of you all used Craigslist to find things? Like that. And of course, you know, Craigslist wasn't quite as safe because you couldn't really see who was posting the things on the other end. But Facebook, you can kind of check out their Facebook profile and see if you have any mutual friends and see if you can kind of do a creep check, if you know what I mean, before you kind of, investigate further. Good morning, Miss Jana. How are you? Miss Jana's local to me. We actually used to work in the same building together back in my preschool teaching days. The fabric pumpkins. Yeah, you can take the fabric pumpkins off. This one had a really cool stem. Like, it looks really realistic to me, which is another reason why I thought, I think I will save that and do something with it. We just cut the bottom off. You didn't, but you know of it, of Craigslist. Is that what you're talking about? We bought a lot of things off Craigslist. My husband and I both. We like to kind of shop marketplace, and back in the day we were Craigslist shoppers too. I bought my kitchen or my dining room table off of Craigslist. 17. Let's see, how long ago? No, that was about 16 years ago. So yeah, it was about 10, 15 years ago that we were Craigslist shoppers. Thank you, Miss Jada. Glad you're here. Hope you have a great weekend. Your little boy is just as cute as a button and growing like a weed. You're painting some dried gourds from last year. Oh, good, Deborah. This is taking a little bit to dry, but it's giving us a good little minute to kind of chat. But I love the way this paint is turning out, and it could be that those instant coffee crystals. Y'all can't see that, and I can't stand it. My lighting, every time I show anything on screen, it makes it look so much brighter than it really is. I'm looking and comparing. On my screen, it looks brighter orange than it really is. On my end, it's a little more earthy color, might say. But those instant coffee crystals kind of give us a little bit of variation in the color when you put it on, I think, which makes it look more realistic. Now, you could cover one in fabric, which would be absolutely adorable, because the inspiration that I had from Miss Jeanette Spicer, hers was made from fabric, and it's absolutely precious. But when I had these, and I had these little pie pans, I thought, these are similar in size. I think I can do something similar. Hoping I didn't get that too hot right there. See a little bit of a crackle. That's okay. It's forgiving. Now this little stem, her stem was a really cute green, like a green gingham wolf material. It's so cute. Let me see. You made a crazy rooster. Where did it go? With a gourd. Use skeleton tongs as his feet. Oh, that would be cute. This little squash, I could probably do something similar with that. Thank you for the idea. You'll have to post a picture of it. I was trying to say photo and picture, and it was coming out picture of it. I'd love to see it. My brain is working faster than my mouth, or vice versa. I don't know which. Now, I kind of want this a little bit green and a little bit brown. Does that sound weird? The stem, of course, is not typically green after it's dried. So we're going to kind of experiment with a little bit of color here. I'm just kind of using, this is a color called Clover. It's a folk art color. And let's see. Then I have another color called Coffee Latte. I already have green on this brush. Now how can I get a little bit of that out? I don't have another brush on my table. We're just going to put a little speck on the side of my cup here, and there we go. Let's combine those two and see what we get. And I just want a real earthy green, but I want some hints of brown in there. And I could put a little bit of coffee crystals in it, but I think I didn't mix together very much paint, and it probably wouldn't be enough to melt those coffee crystals. So we're going to go with this and see what we get. And if you use the heat, yes, they can. If you use the heat tool, they will definitely get a little bumpy, and sometimes if you get too much heat on them, they'll become a little misshapen. But I was trying to keep the heat a good distance away so that didn't happen. I think this color is going to work. And of course, we'll give it a little bit of shading and color variation in just a little bit. Let's just get some base coating on. And I'm just using a small brush so that I can take that color down in to that little stem area. I know you all can't see that, but it kind of goes down real deep in there. See that? I've got a little speck of gold in there that I still need to cover up too, that I missed. So we'll take this color down in there and see what this gets us. Pull a little bit. If I load my brush, it's easier to kind of just maneuver some of that paint down in that little deep area. Load that brush, and then you can kind of push the paint down in there. That makes it a little easier to do. Okay. And this little stem is so fun. It's got the twisty and the turns, and it even has a little fake little tendrils on it. Aren't those cute? Which I always love it. I mean, I don't know about you all, but when I would pick out, you know, fresh pumpkins, real pumpkins, I would always go for the ones that still had a real pretty stem on them. I just love the look of them. That was always funny about that. I haven't bought real pumpkins in a while. My kids aren't really interested in carving them anymore. So I don't use, and pumpkins can be expensive. I was going to try to grow some this year, but I kind of missed my time frame window. And then of course we had the drought, which that wasn't going to even help. So I thought, well, not this year, maybe next year. So this is kind of a good greenish brown color, which is perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. I'm making sure I don't see any of that gold shining through. There we go. It's not green, not brown. Haint green. There you go. Like the haint blue. Okay, let's give that a dry. Now that stem is not foam. It's like plastic. The stackable pumpkins, I think so too, Dana. Those are really cute. I have not done any of those, but I have seen some adorable recreations of those. Hey, Miss Mary, how are you? I think so too, Miss Joy. And then of course I'll shade it up with a little bit of some brownish low light shading on it to get it to look even more real. And then we're gonna see what we can do. Tie it together with this little pie pan and crust here. I'm excited to see what it's going to look like once we get it together. I know mine's not going to be nearly as cute as Miss Jeanette's, but you use what you got, and I had these left over that I've needed to do something with. I see a little spot that I missed right there. Anywhere else? Right there. And so you use what you have, right? Mark got 2 yesterday at Walmart. Oh, if they were just $3 each, that's not bad at all. Usually they're like, I feel like some years I've seen them, usually they're around $5 or $6. It depends on where you get them, of course, right? But I have seen them up like $9, $10, sometimes even $12. Isn't that crazy? They do. And it depends on the size. It depends on the style of them, you know. You grew watermelon, but the inside was a pumpkin. I have never seen that, Miss Cindy. That is wild. I guess they cross-pollinated. Did you plant them close together? That is crazy. You always say you're going to decorate your yard with hay bales, pumpkins, corn stalks, and mulch. Well, I'm right there with you. Who was that, Regina? Yes. That stuff's expensive. And you only leave it out for a short time, right? I know. I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. Hey, Miss Lisa, Wendy. Okay. Now, let's see here. Okay. Now, if you have a reason, I've got a little crack right here on the top of this pumpkin, and it's really bugging me. I'm seeing a little bit of that undercolor shining through, so I am going to put a little bit of paint to cover that up. Just in that little area. And while that's drying, I'm going to take my Distress ink, okay, and I'm going to load up one of these. Let's put some heat on that. I'm going to put some Distress ink around on certain parts of it. You could use antiquing wax and really rub that wax down into the little sections, the little segments of the pumpkin. No melting. I'm going to get this orange paint all over me. Watch and see. So I feel like I better go ahead and dry it. You've always wanted to try growing gourds. I have thought about that too. But you know, it takes a lot of space to dry them. Like, you have to have a really good space to store them while they're drying. I have looked into that too, because they can make some really, I've seen some really neat things made out of the gourds. Not just birdhouses, but some really neat things made out of those. Okay, it's still got a couple spots that are damp, but I think we're okay. Now I'm going to take that and I'm going to rub some of that distressed ink, okay, over parts of the stem, parts of the pumpkin, and that's going to give me some of that shading that I like on some of these things. I will say that pumpkin, that stem dried to be a really bizarre color. It's different. I'm not sure. It dried a little bit different than what I was anticipating it to do, though. And it could be just the nature of this surface that I'm using. I've not painted on one of these before, and it, you know, sometimes it can kind of, if it's reactivating a color or a paint that's been applied on the surface before, can kind of give you a little bit different color, and I think that may be what's happened. Making sure this is dry over here. It still looks a little suspect. Okay, so if you are local to me, you know, I want to know. If you're local to me, I want you to chime in the comments and tell you you are a local watcher or local follower. If you are interested in my farm fresh eggs, my eggs are going to be very soon available for you all to purchase here locally. They're going to be, well, look them up if you're not familiar with them, is Burley's Harvest Market. My eggs are going to be over there. So if you want to grab some of my farm fresh eggs from my girls here, you can check them out if you're a local watcher. It's a memory thing. Oh, you're painted the, that's sweet, Dana. That is sweet. I don't blame you at all. That is super sweet. Okay, now we're going to come down to this now, and we're going to squish this. This is really wide this direction, so I'm taking both my hands and I'm squishing it. Okay, well, let's see if that works. All right, almost. Let's squish it. I might have to shave some of it off. There we go. Oh, yeah. Oh, this is going to be cute. It's starting to come together. Hey, Miss Tammy and Brenda. Brenda with an I. Now, are you Miss Debbie's friend? If so, you might be the Brenda I'm thinking about. You went to Texas with us a couple years ago on our meetup trip. I always remember, if you are, your name because it was spelled with an I. B-R-I-N-D-A. And you might be. Good morning, Miss Denise. Hey, Miss Tammy. I haven't seen any say they're local watchers to me yet. Cute as that. You know what I need to do? I need to grunge up this pan. Yep, I need to grunge up the pan. I can do that later, though. Okay, so let's dress up the top. I know I want to use one of these little grungy tags and write pumpkin pie on it. I think that would be cute. Let's write on it and put some ink on it, and then we will wrinkle it up. But it's already been coffee stained. It's super easy too. Super easy. Thank you, Miss Tammy. Good morning. Thank you, Miss Regina. Okay, I'm just going to freehand this. And I kind of like to write in some just basic hand lettering first. And then I'll go back and kind of give it a little bit of character. So if you like to doodle, or if you've ever doodled, that's kind of what I'm talking about. I just write it, and then I'll go over and make some extra lines or some little curly cues, or square off the ends of my letters. And I'll show you here in just a second. I'll hold this up so that you can see it. But if you want to, you can use stamps. Use whatever you have. So I did the pumpkin. You see how I kind of went back in and just kind of jazzed it up a little bit. And then the pie, I have not touched it yet. I just made that real simple, and then I'll go back and just retrace the lines, give them a little bit more of a character to them. There we go. Just the primitive jars. Oh, are you all talking about what to order? I don't do things very, very often. Not very often at all. I did a pre-order this summer of some of my primitive jars, and whew, it's taken me a hot minute to get those finished. And the last few boxes of those are going out now. And I probably won't do another pre-order ever. I'll probably just have to I'll have to only do pre-made things. That was stressful for me and those of you that were waiting on orders. But you all have been so patient and so sweet and kind about it. I really do appreciate that. Okay, I'm taking this same Distress ink. This is, I got paint on it. The Tim Holtz Ranger brand Distress ink. This is Vintage Photo. This is the name of the color. And it reminds you of just that. It gives you that vintage sepia tone to things that you put it on. And that's what I rubbed on the pumpkin as well. Now this ink, it is not a permanent ink, okay? And there are different things. There are Distress oxides and there are Distress inks. Ink will stay true to its color. oxides, they do just that. They give you an oxidized color over time. The color kind of changes tones. So if you're buying something like this for the first time, I would go with just a vintage photo color, because I use this color on so many different things, from fabrics to papers to pumpkins. Even some of my faux crusts that I use on some of my faux foods, I use it to shade. I just love this color. So if you want to get something like this to add to your craft toolbox, I would just get a little mini one. You can find them at most craft supply stores, I will say. Like, I know Hobby Lobby has them, and you can find them on Amazon, of course, and find them online at different places. But I would go with just a vintage photo and make sure it's distress ink. And you can get a mini one, or you can get a large size ink pad, and if they run out and dry out, you can get a refill that you just squirt on there to kind of replenish, refresh your ink. But you see, it took the edge of that and just gave it that just yummy little vintage look to it. Yes, they have the refill for the pads. That's just what I said, Michelle. So now what I'm going to do, let me see here. Do I want to crinkle that? I don't know if I want to crinkle that little tag up. It kind of looks cute just the way it is. I think I'll leave it. So now what I need to do, I need to decide. Did you all hear Tom? He just crowed out there. I know I want to use, I like this little black check homespun. I'm looking, I have some green some green plaid, which might be, that might be kind of cute. Decisions. I have an orange. I feel like that's too much. It kind of blends in. Okay. Got options here. I think a little star would be really cute. You know what else I needed to do? And I didn't. I needed to take this ink and go around my pie crust. Because when I made this pie crust, I did not give it any shading. So this is just a plain, this is a product called Mold-A-Wood. My friend Katie at Creative Crafting by Katie, she has this product, and she has it available for you all if you want to purchase some. You can go creativecraftingbykatie.com. It's called Mold-A-Wood. Mold-A-Wood. Okay. Or sometimes it's MAW for short, like mall. You'll hear somebody maybe sometimes refer to it as mall, short for Mold-A-Wood. But it is really cool stuff. If you use like molds a lot of time, you can use this product in the place of like air dry clay. But I might have to go with a little bit darker color. I'm pretty sure that this, hot dog. Okay, I can do that. I just want to take this and hit the highlights of my crust so that they look like they've been baked. You know how a fresh baked pie kind of has those golden edges, on the peaks of the crust? That's what I'm wanting to do here. Yeah, this is starting to look, I don't know, it's not showing up on camera though. That's the strangest thing, I'm telling you. It's so bizarre. So let me rub some of this on there real quick. And then we'll stick it back down in there. Maybe I'm not loading my brush up enough. And it could be that my ink pad needs to be re-inked. That could be it too. Oh, that helped a little. Okay. I still think I probably need to add a little bit more, but now that popped out, I think I'm going to have to glue it in there because it's kind of wanting to sit up a little bit. Okay. That'll do for now. I'll go back and fuss with it later. Okay. So I need your help. Can you all see it? Oop, this way. I'm missing some of your questions. Where did I get the Mold-A-Wood for the crust? The molded wood is actually, and I put it up yesterday, it comes in a little container. It's kind of like, you know how if you've used like Model Magic or air dry clay, it's an alternative for that. However, a lot of you that have used like air dry clay before have expressed that you have problems with it cracking over time, and it can crumble after it dries sometimes. This molded wood is a product, and it comes in a little container, and she sells it. She creates it and sells it on her own. But Creative Crafting by Katie, just like it sounds, no different spelling, .com, and she'll have it on her website where you can order a container of it. And I just used it in the same way that I do like Model Magic or air dry clay. So everything's the same there. And you want to let it dry for 24 hours, but when it dries, there's no cracking. It doesn't crack on you like an air dry clay would. And it kind of remains a little bit flexible. Okay. All right. So with the tie, do we want just a plain, I'm just kind of laying this together up here so you can kind of see the color combinations here. Just a plain muslin little tie on there. Coffee stained muslin fabric. I like the way that kind of looks with those colors. So there's option one with the muslin. My nose. Tickly, tickly. And then I have this real fun little primitive green homespun plaid there. That's pretty cute. I'm trying to give you a good angle. There's number two, the green. I like it, but I don't like it. I think it kind of competes with the stem a little bit. I don't know. And then the one I usually like to use the most is this little black gingham homespun. So I see a green, I see a black. Let's see. Do I missed something. Little cinnamon. Oh, Miss Terry. I do have some cinnamon sticks, but I think they're too big. I might. Can you put her craft name so we can text her? It's just Creative Crafting by Katie. That's her page name as well. Looks like a vine. Yeah, tell them. Let's see. Yes, she also has a Facebook page for her molded wood. Oh, she has a group. She has a Facebook group. That's Creative Craft, or no, it's called Molded Wood. If you just search that, you'll find the Facebook group. And that's where people share their photos of things that they've made with the product, and ask questions and things like that. So I see a black. There's Miss Lisa. How are you? I hope you're feeling better. A green, black, black. You actually like the plain. Green, black and white check. Black, black, black. I think y'all like the black. Let's go with the black. Oh, goodness. There you go. Thank you, Miss Christina. She put it in there. Creative Crafting by Katie. Black or the first one? I know. Now that I'm looking at this, I'm thinking maybe I could combine the two. Let's see if we can combine this black and the coffee stain. I like that green, but just something about it didn't quite go good. I just want to make a simple, I don't know if I want a bow, but I'm just looking here. Let's fuss for a minute. Let's fuss with it for a minute. Okay, whenever I use more than one strand of fabric and tie it, I like to tie them separately. I know that sounds really weird, and y'all might think I'm goofy for saying that, but I feel like if I tie them together, the knot is bigger and it doesn't look right to me. So I always do them separately. All right, so I feel like it needs a little something, something. You know what? Let's try. Oh gosh, about made a mess. Let's try a little bit of this Excelsior on here. I don't know if I'm going to like it on here, but I feel like it needs just a little bit of extra something down here at the base of this stem. And now this Excelsior, sometimes I like to coffee grunge this Excelsior to kind of dull the color a little bit. Get all the loose, well, get all the loose pieces out of there. I kind of like that, but of course it's too bright. I'm going to have to grunge it a little bit. But for now, we're going to go with it. And I think that'll give us a nice little nest for this little fabric to rest on. And our little tag too. Okay. I'm going to tie this in a knot. And I'm going on the opposite side of the direction my stem is going. So my stem is going this way. I want my little hang tag to go this direction so that it kind of seems balanced once it goes off there. You're new to primitive, but what about a small leaf? Oh, yes. Oh, that would be cute, Jenny. Yes. A little leaf. You know what you got me thinking. You got me thinking. The green does kind of remind you of a little leaf. It just, that green's just not it. I don't know. I thought maybe I could make a little leaf shape out of that and make that work, but no, it's just not working. Okay, now where'd my tag go? It's on the table somewhere. Okay. This is going to be really cute. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do, let's string this piece of fabric through and see if this looks good or not. You like it, Amy? Something so easy, and I've just taken my time with it this morning because I just wanted to enjoy being, not having a time crunch. Limited time. Usually on Saturday mornings I have a limited time frame, and so we're just doing some laid back Saturday morning. You think so, Jenny? I think that's going to be cute, and we could even add a little rusty star. Oh my goodness, we're primming it up. When you get it just right, you start to say, oh yes, oh yes. That's looking really cute. Now that little piece of fabric is like really stiff. Let's work on it a little bit. Let's kind of wrinkle it up and tatter it up so that it doesn't look like we just freshly tied it. Okay. I have one little scrap piece here. Let's tie that on there too. That's why I said I kind of like to tie my little pieces of fabric all separate so that it doesn't have one big, huge, bundled up knot showing, Because you can tie them tighter to where you don't notice the knots as well. Rusty star, here we come. And I did not get the hot glue out this morning, so we're actually going to see if we can't put a little string of jute. These little rusty stars come with a little hole on them, and if you have some really thin twine, you can put that right on there and tie it up. That's what I'm going to do. And I think it's going to look super cute. If you all are crafters and you make things to sell, this would be a super easy. Let me tie that in a different way. This would be a super easy project that you can create multiples of and resell. And you probably could make a good return on it because your items aren't going to be super expensive. And like I said, you could make multiples very easy. Now the foam pumpkins, you could buy those in bulk. You could probably even get some cheaper, maybe even disposable mini pie pans. That's probably what I would recommend. Get the little mini disposable ones. And you could use probably Model Magic would probably your cheaper way to go for the crust. Everything else would be really easy to get and fairly inexpensive. So you might want to put this on your craft lists for next fall. or start making ahead of time. You know what I mean? Make it ahead of time so that you'll have a big batch of these. And these, I think, would be super, super good sellers. I think you could price these. Let me think. I think you could price that for anywhere from $15 to $20, maybe at a craft show. And you might even be able to sell them for upwards to like $24, $25 online if you sell on Etsy. But what are you doing, buddy? Pongo's coming to see us. Isn't that sweet? Super, super sweet. And the little mini size, if you wanted to make a big size, oh, they would be gorgeous. You could probably make a full size one and sell those easily for $40 or $50, I bet. Yep. I think that is super sweet. And it's something different. It's not like your regular faux pumpkin pie. My new favorite. I love it. Okay, you guys, I'm so happy you joined me today. We've spent an hour here, and Pongo is telling me he needs to go out. I think that's what he's doing. He's shaking our camera this morning. Thank you so much. I'm so happy y'all joined me today, and I always love seeing you all in the comments. Love it when I get to spend a little more time with you in the comments. Thank you, Miss Becky. I know, Miss Becky. If you all don't follow Miss Becky on Becky's Whimsy, she is a hoot. She is a hoot and sweetheart as well. She participates, I think, in a lot of like theater type plays in her local community, and she occasionally will dress in character on her lives, and she is so funny. She had one last night. If you all want to go back and rewatch it, she is so sweet. She'll give you a chuckle and lighten your day, I'm sure. She'll brighten your day. Thank you, Miss Sharon. Thank you, Miss Pat. Love you guys. I'll see you again very soon. We're going to start Christmas next week and probably start some sewing. Some little sewing projects. Really easy, simple, because I'm not very well experienced. So we're going to start off simple. I did get a sewing machine that's practically brand new on Marketplace this summer and have not been able to use it yet. What is the matter? Come here. Come see me. Come give me hugs. Come on. There's my buddy. Oh, are you a good boy? Are you a good boy? Can you give me kisses? Give me kisses. Here's my buddy. You need to go out. Okay, Mommy's coming. All right, you guys. Love seeing you all today. I will talk to you again so soon, and I'll be posting the date of our first Christmas project next week. All right, talk to you soon. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye, guys.